welcome to another live stream. This one is going to be a very relaxed zodiac romance series live stream. Why do I say very relaxed? Because for today's video, I don't have a super lot of preparation. I have some ideas of what I want to talk about, the updates to the series to make, but this is going to definitely be a more casual chat. So hello to everyone coming in and joining right now. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you coming today. We are going to, just for a little preview of what's coming, we are going to listen to fresh audiobook material that has never been heard before. I'm going to read bits and pieces of chapters that have never been heard before, and we are going to essentially go through the Zodiac romance series. I will spend more time on some books than others to give a refresher of what has come before and where we are coming in the future. Hello to everyone. Hi, Jacqueline Ryder 30. Hi, Keisha Stewart. Hi, author Sapphire Zuka or Zuka? Zuka? J.S. Lindsay, hello. Scarlett J49, hello. And J.S. Lindsay says, hi, first time catching a live, love your works. Thank you. And I know last time I was close enough to tap stuff, but I'm not close enough this time. So if I'm not like tapping, I'm just saying a little far away this time. Inga K says, hello, my book arrived earlier this week. Thanks, you're welcome. I'm really glad that you got it. And I also believe that Nika, who sometimes comes in here into the chats, wasn't sure if she got her book. There was a issue with the address, and then we managed to sort it out, and she got hers this week. So far, all the books that I've sent out should have been received. Hi, SD Jewel 96, and hello everyone who's joining in. A friendly reminder that I do have a book coming out this month that I keep forgetting to promote, which is a terrible strategy for getting people to know about the book. But you can already get the paperback, and you may have already read the entire series actually if you've been here a while. And the ebook is coming on September 27th at midnight, and you can pre-order. So what we have here is Forced to Surrogate, Forced to Marry, Forced to Submit. And this is a discreet version for anyone who wants to reread these books in an airport without answering too many questions. Of course, if someone asks, you can always reply with the good old mind your business. But, we have a discreet version for people who have read the books, really like them, want a different version, want a more subtle version, especially with the titles of these books. And also, if you are new to my works and you're like, oh my God, there's so much, like it's so expensive, like I can't catch up on all of this. Well, the ebook version is $6.99. So with each of the individual books being $4.99, when you get the $6.99 ebook bundle, it is going to be a bit cheaper, and it is still in Kindle Unlimited. And then this paperback is $20, which I do believe is significant savings as well. But again, I am very bad at preparing the paperback prices specifically before I come onto the video, because those are a little bit more, they fluctuate more than my ebook prices, so it's hard for me to remember. Inga K says, I'm reading my paperback trilogy now. Thank you so much. I hope you like it. I recently gave, I think, Forced to Surrogate to a friend of mine to, I guess it's not really a beta read, but to hear her opinion on it. So I look forward to hearing what you guys think of that one. So this is what's coming out on ebook like this month. And if you haven't read this book yet, you can get the paperback like with 2-day shipping. Even my copies, author copies sometimes take a really long time to get here. And my copies were here at my house in 2 days. And if you want to binge read all of the books, it's a nice thick collection. I personally really like how it turned out and recommend this. So when we are almost 5 minutes in, I like to give people 5 or so minutes to come in before we get to the main topic. And we are going to talk about the Zodiac series today. I recently heard back from our fave, Chris is in the house. Chris is back with some chapters, not some chapters, all the chapters of Fletcher Sagittarius King. And that book is probably going to be coming out in October on audio. It is 2 hours, 5 minutes long. In my opinion, that's a perfect short smut audio length, because it's kind of like the episode, a very long movie, a very long smutty movie that you can put on your headphones and listen to and hopefully enjoy. So we do have that coming up. And of course, I'm currently working on Zedekiah's book, and a lot is going on there. A lot is going on. my other works in progress before we get into the real meat of things, because I always do this little update with you guys and I'll miss doing it if I don't, is I am working on the edits of Varsity Possession. So believe it or not, the first book in the hockey series is done, but it has a lot of work to do in edits. So it's going to be there for a while and it will be published on October 30th. And I have started writing the second book in the hockey romance series, and that one has a plus size female lead. So write down in your notes, Varsity Surrogate equals, no one's taking notes, but if you mental notes, Varsity Surrogate equals plus size female lead. So get ready for that. We got size difference. Mona is kind of like a bougie girly girl, but Peyton is more of like a Chucks and Pearls, I'm in about my books type of girl. So we have those two different books. So Mona's book 2, Peyton's book 1, and we're going to reveal book 3 when the time is right. So Keisha says, yes, Chris's voice is smooth like butter. I completely agree. I cannot wait to get to this part of the stream because this will also be my first time hearing this part of the book. I have listened, I guess, to the first 15 minutes, but I have not really shared, beyond that. I haven't really listened to much more than that. So I am looking into, this is so embarrassing how I'm doing this. I'm literally going to Amazon so I can figure out, this is how little I wouldn't say how little I've prepared because I prepared mentally, but I don't have notes. So this is how few notes I have. I'm going directly to the Kindle pages for the Zodiac series. So this series is titled Zodiac Small Town Romance, and as you can probably tell, every book in there has a Zodiac theme and is small town romance themed, and they are all dark. I wanted to write this series to kind of get some of like my fave smutty tropes that I don't always get to work on with the Mafia romance series and weave them into a nice fun novella series that could hopefully tide you over with the books. And I was also hoping to, let's say someone comes and starts reading my books now and they're like, oh my God, I can't wait for the hockey series. They could dive into the Zodiac books and you could get lost in there between the ebooks and the audiobooks. And we have a lot going on there. So one major question, I've been getting this on email, Facebook, Patreon, Instagram DMs. One major question I've been getting is, step 1, are all the Zodiac books going to be published? And step 2, are they all going to come out on audiobook? So far, the answer is yes to both. Hi, Sandra Love Dub, and hi, Solo por un beso. Thank you for joining. So the question was, okay, right. So they're all coming out on ebook and they're all going to be on audiobook. So right now for the pre-orders for ebook, I have everything except the Gemini book on pre-order. And the only reason for that is I don't want to put out everything for next year up on pre-order yet. And it's coming out in June next year. But this is my guarantee. The last book in the series will be June next year, and everything else has been put up on pre-order beforehand already. Audiobooks, we're in production. Fletcher is done. Conan is almost done. And then we are going to do the next 2 audiobooks. And so basically how it works, I explained this in one of the previous streams on the Zodiac series. Hi, Bella D714. Hi, Sip Then Read. Thank you for coming in. Is that I work on 2 at a time so that you get one and then a short time after you get a second one and then we wait a little bit and then we get 2 at a time. That just is the work cycle that seems to be working out well for me and the narrator Chris. So that is what we are doing for the series. So all of the audiobooks are going to be published as well. So let us get into the books out right now. So far my link is saying that there are 10 books out, but I think there are 8 out and 2 up on pre-order. Oh, one of the pre-orders is not listed here. That's an oopsie. So we will figure that out because the 11th one is up. It's just somehow not connected to the series. So what a lovely time for me to learn that. So book 1 in the series is Terran Taurus King. And I do try to publish each of the books in the season of the astrological sign. And so sometimes that's why there is a long wait between each one. So my advice for that, if you are not patient, is to join the Patreon because they get them when I actually write the books. And then I schedule the books out to just come like when it makes sense in the season. So when is the most convenient time during Taurus season? So Sip Then Read says, I'm so excited. Book 1 was so freaking funny. Well, thank you. I really enjoyed writing book 1. That was the one that was in my head as this is the book I need to write in my soul and spirit. And then the rest kind of evolved from there. So Terran, Taurus King, I actually can find something positive in every astrological sign, even if some of them have done me dirty, but we got to put it behind us. And so this was my original Stuck in a Snowstorm one. A vicious snowstorm, I'm kind of half reading the description, sends Viola careening into the arms of a gruff, lonely farmer in an isolated small town. So basically, the long and the short of that one is Viola's on her way to a friend's wedding. I'm going to try not to give too many spoilers in these, even if this book has been out since April of... Okay, I kind of want to give spoilers. It's been out since April of 2022, but I'll try not to give too many. So Viola is on her way to a friend's wedding in a terrible snowstorm, very much like the ones I actually endure in the part of New York that I live. And I don't want to say I low-key wish that would happen. That's wild. Sip Then Read said, had me and my sister thinking of finding a mountain man. Yes, I agree. I'm with it. There is a little delay in the chat, but I am trying to get to all the comments I see. Hello, Luck at Liana. So, right. So where was I going with this? Right. So Viola crashes her car in a horrible snowstorm, and then Terran hears this, or no, Terran's dog starts going nuts. Terran's dog is a bloodhound. There's a dog in every book in this series. And he runs, and then Terran saves her. Viola is basically like, WTF am I doing here? They initially don't like each other because Terran is problematic AF. Many, if not all of the men in this book are problematic, which is where the dark comes in. And hopefully, like, hashtag we can fix them, and we are mending our morally depraved heroes with the power of love, and that's the world we live in. So Solopor and Besa says, I'm excited for the audiobooks too. Are they available on Kindle or where should I look? So happy I caught your live. I'm happy that you're here. The audiobooks are available on Kindle, on Amazon. The books are available on Kindle, and the audiobooks you can find on Audible and iTunes. And so I believe that those are the only two places those should be the only two places you can find the audiobooks right now. And if you are interested in getting one or some of the books in the series for free, I highly recommend joining my newsletter because I run audiobook giveaways all the time. I just did one yesterday and I spent all morning, because I got to manually send out the codes, sending out maybe, I said I was only going to send out 50, but I ended up sending out 75 codes to get free audiobooks. So just a little tip for the secret tip for the live stream attendees. Sip Then Read says some of them are on audiobook. Sip Then Read says it was him saying everything he thought. Yes. And Luck at Liana, are you ever going to put it on YouTube? I don't think I am allowed to because of how I selected to do the rights for distribution of the audiobook. And if you see any of my books on YouTube, they are pirated straight up. So I'll say that. And I don't think that I selected the rights to put them up on YouTube. And also, secondly, I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't know how one gets paid from that. Of course, I don't mind giving you guys the audiobooks for free, the good old-fashioned way with the codes, but I am scared of putting it on YouTube because I gotta pay Chris, y'all. Yeah, the shorts are on YouTube. Yeah, those shouldn't be there. They are pirated. When it comes to pirates, it's one of those things where I just don't have the time to track it down. So, I understand y'all are going to do what you're going to do. I recommend helping me continue to write, but, I can't stop the world from turning. So that was Terran's book. So Terran was a gruff, lonely farmer. Viola came in. I loved the bloodhound. He was my fave, my little puppy. Now I can't remember Cyrus's dog. So that's how you know I truly do have favorites. Luck at Liana says, I thought so, just asking. Oh, don't worry, guys. I'm not bothered by any of the questions. If I am bothered by a question or if I don't want to answer it, I will plead the fifth and not answer. Otherwise, part of why I come on here is so that you guys can ask me things. And even if it's, I'm going to always just try to communicate in a way that's honest and respectful. And you guys do the same with me. And so I really appreciate that. And so any question you have, don't hesitate to throw it out there, because if I don't want to answer it, I'll try to politely let you know, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so book 2 was a rough ride because I recently changed it and added a lot to it. So if you read it when it first came out, refresh your copy because I updated it for the production of the audiobook. So I believe, I'm trying to look, this isn't telling me nothing. Yes, it is telling me it's here. So Cyrus is available on audio as well. So let's talk about Cyrus Leo King for a second. Book 2 in the series. Let us see what we're putting up on here. So Cyrus Leo King, that's so tiny. You probably can't see that. I should find a bigger, there we go, bigger. Cyrus Leo King. This was a boss employee romance. Every day is me plus a problematic age gap. So I have taken a slight step away from age gaps because I feel like I don't need to write them. I write a lot of them. And so if I hear like enough from readers, like enough is enough, or if there have been multiple attempted TikTok cancellations, I am thinking, we don't need them. But I love age gap romances because when I was the age I write the heroines, normally when I think of like myself when I was that age, and obviously every character isn't based on me, but I remember the general mindset of when I was 18, and I try and like apply a similar mindset to the character. So let's talk about Cyrus Leo King and how that applies. This really is a book chat. I don't reveal details like this often. So if you're here watching and you're interested, thank you. I mean, I'm beyond flattered. I mostly, I don't know. I'm happy that you guys are here. I'm just so grateful. So a racially insensitive, but you can call him what you want, small town boss hires a black intern. He finds her like loudmouthed, out of control, and he can't really fire her without setting more rumors ablaze about him being racist. And she calls him racist too, which annoys him, and he wants to find a way to bring her to her knees. Now, Shandy, a lot of people didn't like because she was extra. I don't know if you all have met many 18-year-olds or been 18. I feel like my extraness peaked between the ages of 16 and 21. Like those ages were when I was a lot and doing the most. And so Shandy is a lot and doing the most and immature, and that is on purpose because she is 18. So that does obviously annoy a lot of people, especially people who I imagine are much older than me and very far removed from like the mindset and like just the headassery, for lack of a better word. And so I get it. However, I love Shandy because Shandy is finding her way in the world, and she doesn't really, I feel like to me, she represents a young character who she's testing things out. She's testing the boundaries of life. And Cyrus is an old grouch who needs a little spice. He needs things to be spiced up. And he's also a sexy redheaded Leo, very dominant. So if you want, a somewhat inappropriate age gap workplace romance with a sexy Leo boss, I felt like I wanted to make the Leo character the boss because Leo as a fire sign has kind of a reputation and a stereotype as being like a very large and in charge zodiac sign. And so I wanted to make the character fit that theme. And all the names, by the way, are themed with the zodiac, but I did this very strangely so it wouldn't be very obvious for all of them. It's obvious for Augustine, but for example, for Cyrus, I'm pretty sure Cyrus is the name of like a king. Now I forget what I did, but I looked all of them up, and so all of the names do have some kind of meaning and connection to the star sign. So just something to think about, to chit chat about. So Cyrus's book is also available on Audible, and because of the updates, when I made the updates with the intention of hearing Chris say certain things. So if you are a fan of Chris's voice, which you probably will be soon, consider that. I say that because we're going to listen to the audible sample from Cyrus just a little bit to get an idea of this.
You seriously expect me to go through with this bullshit diversity hire? I growl at my sister. My red hair looks like a mess today, and the last thing I want to do is handle more PR when I look like crap. The latest scandal is bad enough without a rogue ginger situation hitting our small town papers. I loathe my sister's idea. Alexis always has brilliant ideas about how to recover from our latest scandal, which she blames on me entirely. I want nothing to do with her crap. We own a small business, not a charity. I don't care for that divisive liberal bullshit at all. If we hire someone, it won't be for diversity reasons. Alexis balks at the suggestion that her hire is purely for diversity reasons. What the fuck does she expect me to think? My sister balls up her fist and scowls like she wants to put it through my jaw. We're both redheads, and our own mother blamed our awful tempers on our red hair. She wasn't from the sensitive generation that obsessed over stereotypes. She was practical, fierce, and Irish, like me. And unfortunately, like my sister, we butt heads all the time. Alexis puts the finishing touches on her argument. Cyrus, my sister says impatiently, you stood on the bar at Woody's and screamed the N-word in front of 50 witnesses. You were on the front page of the paper as the most racist guy in central New York. That was one time, I grumble. Every drunken incident now gets you painted as a racist? When will this country learn how to chill the fuck out?
Okay, so we're done. So I always re-listen to these and I'm like, Cyrus... But Cyrus, I also always like change color when Chris starts reading. It's very embarrassing. But Cyrus is a good time. That book is under 2 hours. It's a quick, smutty read. If you enjoy the humor in dark romance, I would say the novellas are a little funnier than some of my full-length novels. And maybe like dark but light. Dark but light. So we got some comments. Keisha says, girl. Yoli says, emoji. You can see the emojis. His voice. Jacqueline Ryder, his voice is amazing. Solo Por and Beso, he was a wonderful choice. And the reason I'm reading these guys, by the way, is not just to acknowledge you, but also if people are watching the replay on YouTube, I want them to just kind of have an idea of, you know, what you guys are saying and give you all credit for our little conversation. So I, again, really liked Cyrus. So I don't like to fixate too much on reviews because I think sometimes it can get to the point where I get the emotional side as an author, but I just kind of feel like readers don't need to be like emotionally burdened with like my anxiety over reviews. So I only like to make a point if I feel like it's relevant to your life and not just mine. But I will mention the reviews on Cyrus because it is relevant to your life. So with those, a lot of people came for me in that book for stereotyping Cyrus as a redhead. And I know that I'm laughing, so it's going to make it seem like I'm not genuine. I'm truly sorry for if you interpreted that as me saying that stereotype is true. I wrote that into the book because it is true that many people say these stereotypes about redheads, and I don't know if you've been very close to redheaded people. It is very common for them to just say the jokes about themselves. So he's characterized like that in the book because I found that to be true to life, not because I agree that redheads are more aggressive. However, that being said, there is a very good book, of course, I can't remember the author right now, entitled Red, about the history of red hair. And there is some suggestion within this book and the research that some of the stereotypes about red hair may be true. It's a very interesting book. As some of you may have been able to tell, I am mixed race, and one side of my family has a lot of redheads, not the black side, does not have a lot of redheads. The white side has a lot of redheads, and so I found myself fascinated with red hair, and so we're on that little side quest now. But the next book in the series is not about a redhead. It is about one of my favorite star signs, although it's not my own star sign. One of my favorite star signs, and also has one of my first characters. Shandy might have been named after a subscriber. I don't think so, actually. I think Adrian, Scorpio King, had my first book in the series that was named for a Patreon subscriber, and that was for Colleen. So I don't know, how do you guys pronounce Colleen? Do you pronounce it Colleen or Colleen? Just something for you to chew on while I talk about this book. Adrian's Scorpio King was a baby-themed romance. I really wanted him to kind of have like a impregnation kink. I'll say it. That's why the first sentence in the description is he chooses her to have his child. So first way, Colleen. Okay. That's how I say it too. I've heard people say Colleen recently, but those people might have been British. I'm from Jersey. Okay, a lot of people are saying the first way. Thank you guys. I'm like, this is very important to my writer brain. So Colleen was least likely to get laid in her senior class. So Adrian is her former high school crush, who's basically a douche. He's a drug dealing, tattooed kid from the wrong side of the tracks. That's the appropriate way to say that. They've been enemies because he rejected her, basically being racist AF. But then he goes to prison, and he comes out of prison, and he's got a second chance. And he basically remembers her crush on him, and he was thinking about it in prison, becoming deeply obsessed with her. And he believes that he can fix the past by having a baby with Colleen. So look at Leanna says, nice name, I do agree. And JS Lindsay says, call rhymes with doll, Alleen. Thank you. And hi, Summer K561, since I'm reading stuff. Welcome. I know I haven't greeted everyone by your username, but I have noticed you all here. So thank you. So basically, he's baby obsessed, he's dirty talking, he's dangerously hot. I wanted him to have kind of like a light MC vibes. Like Adrian was giving Prospect vibes because I was very much considering putting him in a spin-off with a biker gang. And we gotta wait for a while to talk about the biker stuff because we are already going to be here a minute getting through the books in this series. So Adrian's book is on audio as well. And because I am like low-key obsessed with Chris's voice, we are going to listen to just a teeny little sample of Adrian.
It's her. She looks different, but not so different that I can't remember her. 2 years was enough time to change me, but it's been more than enough time to change the object of my obsession behind bars. Everything about her face is exactly as I remember it. I was wrong about her body. She's on the slimmer side now, but still curvy the way I thought she was. I like her shape, which ain't too common around here, and she has nice, full lips. Those lips are so fucking pretty, and I've wanted to kiss lips like that for a long time. What the hell was her name again? I think it started with a C. She probably doesn't remember me. I don't want her to know that I remember her either. Fuck. Watching her gets me hard as a rock. She's my second chance. She was my first chance, but I fucked that up being an arrogant son of a bitch. I won't screw up this time. I'll ride through hell for this girl, and I don't even know her fucking name.
All right, so that was the full sample. Yeah, we ain't complaining about Chris. We know that. I know who I'm talking to. Thank you guys for supporting me and my antics. So Adrian's book is a second chance romance. So Keisha says, I won't ever complain about hearing more of Chris's voice. That was what I saw when I made the thumbs up. And look at Leanna says, wow, what a voice. Agreed. So now we are on to the next two books in the series. And this is where we get into we're waiting for audiobooks and life is hard. So Solo por un beso, I love this question. What are some things that you were looking for when you chose him? He's a gem. Okay, I love this question. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. This is like a very different question. No one has ever asked me. So I was thinking about, I have been on the fence about what new direction to go with audiobooks, because I recorded a couple and then I wanted to invest more and get better narration. And I heard that shorter books were better for kind of the smuttier style of romance I write, because people can't really like sit there for like 6 hours at once often. And so I wanted to do so we got the short series. So given that context of like the short smutty books, I thought about it and I'm like, okay, you have to listen to a book that's very dirty for 2 hours and also like that has all these emotions. I wanted a voice that was giving instantly wet. All of that to say 2 words. But something that would make you instantly feel attracted to him. And also I wanted him to sound a little country and to have sort of an accent that was American but could sound more lightly Southern. So just a gentle country voice. So where I live in New York is not New York City, and people out here, and if you live in like the Rochester, Buffalo area, or if you live near Western New York, you will know that there is a very different accent in Western New York from New York City. And especially I found people from Buffalo. I don't live in Buffalo, but I've been coming across more and more people from Buffalo. And I noticed that they have a more country sounding accent than other parts of New York, but it's still almost like universal American. I think sometimes if an accent is too regional, like for this series, he couldn't really change it up as much for the different characters in the entire series. And so that's why I didn't go for more of a Southern accent. And I mention that because those were my 2 considerations. So I needed him to sound intensely masculine, not too young and not too old. I will be very respectful and keep Chris's real age and identity and all, whatever juicy secrets about Mr. Chris to myself. But, so a voice that didn't sound like, 98, but also a voice that didn't sound like 17 and barely cracked, especially because of the content. So those were some of the things I considered, and hopefully that answers that question. So Summer K561 says, nope, still not complaining. And Yoli says, haha, nailed it. So let me know if you have any further follow-up questions to that. I know that there's a little delay, so I'm just going to keep going. And when I see the question, as soon as I see it get to a good stopping point, I'm going to get back to your question. So, I will get to you. Now, I did bring some decaf to remind me to slow down. This mug, I don't even know where I sell it anymore. That's embarrassing. I forgot. It might not be up anymore, but you know where you can get merch? Patreon loyalty program. And they are in charge of that now, so you don't have to deal with my spaciness when it comes to shipping things. Although I have shipped all the books right now. My mug, Yoli, yes, I love this mug. So, okay, next in the series, Fletcher, Sagittarius King. So this is a law enforcement romance, cop romance. Possibly, I would say, if someone is going to try to find something to come for me over, I would say a couple people don't like cop romances. Let's be honest. I would say this is not really a overwhelming majority, but I completely understand the reasons that those readers, because they message me, have. However, in small towns there are cops, and so I wrote a small town law enforcement romance. Part of that was because of the star sign theme, And a Sagittarius, again, is a take charge person. And it's even more basic than that. Sagittarius, the archer, he draws his bow and arrow. Fletcher, obviously an archery themed name, he draws his gun. To me, I saw the connection, the dots. It was like, when they have the bulletin board and they're like putting the little red, that's how my brain works sometimes with these things. So we have that. And also, again, another age gap romance. I will make like memes about how, oh, I'm being canceled for age gap. I don't really think that's a real thing. I know that some people don't like them. And honestly, I probably understand it better than you know. I don't really talk about this much, and I would like to not talk about it much, but I have been in situations with an inappropriate age gap that deeply affected me in a negative way. So if this type of stuff bugs you, believe me, I get it. But for some reason, it doesn't bug me. I love it. So I'm here for the age gap romance. So Fletcher's best friend has a very sexy, pretty girl next door, African-American girl next door named Brittany. Brittany, also named for a patron. Thank you, Brittany. Solo Por Beso says, I'm sorry that happened to you. It's one of life's lessons. I just want to explain sometimes the context behind certain things and how I understand them, because Keisha says writing is therapy, and it is therapy. And sometimes you just want to imagine things went down different, low-key. So I think that's, to me, that's how I see it, and other people see it differently, and that's fine. So, right. So Brittany and Fletcher originally, she really is feeling Fletcher, but he's too old for her. So she's basically trying to move on by dealing with guys who are more her age in town, and also to make Fletcher jealous because he's trying to like really hold himself back and hold back his affection for her, because he is I'm sorry, I got so distracted. He's trying to hold back his affection for her because of her dad, who's his best friend. I was reading a comment on there and I got very distracted. So when she pursues this crush, Fletcher can't hide his feelings anymore. One thing leads to another, and well, that's not how it works. They are, you know how it works, but let's go like that. They hit the bedroom. So Yoli says for age gap, you have older woman and younger man that was in Cancer King. Yes. And that doesn't really seem to bother people at all, actually. And also Aquarius was an older woman, younger man. And I actually have a couple older woman, younger man books that are unpublished because I put them out years ago and I just, I want to work on them. So, so when it comes to the age gaps, I think definitely I get a lot of negativity for my, not a lot of, but out of the negativity, it's more about the older man, younger woman. And I just genuinely think it's because people have been like negatively affected by it, and they see certain themes in the book that remind them of it. And it just feels really uncomfortable and like creepy to them, and it takes them out of the romance. And people are like that with bully romance too. And for some reason, it's those are the main two that I just get those types of comments on. So I'm addressing it, but I don't really, again, I say I'm fascinated by all of your opinions, so I'm happy to discuss the ins and outs of everything. So then we have my AMBW romance in the series. I don't know if you guys want another one. I don't know if I messed up somehow. This one is not a reader favorite. However, I like it. Why is he named Conan? That one is themed to Aquarius. Can't remember how. And why is he named Conan? I think, so a lot of times, a lot of my Korean friends who are from mainland Korea, so they were not born in the United States, when they came to the United States, I, without revealing too many personal details, that would have been when we met each other, when they first came to the United States. And when they came here, a lot of times they would pick an English name that they would exclusively go by. and they would pick names. So in Korea, when Koreans pick names, the names have like a very special meaning, and every name has like a specific meaning. And so a lot of times when my Korean American friends came here, they would pick a name that had like a certain essence or theme that their parents or they themselves wanted to embody. So for example, I had a friend who I obviously can't like say her identity, but she had a Korean name, and then when she came to America, she picked the name Grace because of like the values of Grace and how Grace reflected on, like, Grace was a very feminine name, a very pretty name, and those were the, that was the type of, I guess, the cuteness factor of the name that she liked, and so that was why she chose that name. And so my experience growing up with a fair number of Koreans who came from Korea to America, I kind of based that name off of my experiences with those people. Now, the character itself, I felt like a younger man romance would only really work if I made him more on the dominant side, and if, like I do with the younger women when I write age gap romances, that kind of younger people tend to be a little bit more on the impulsive side. I've found that in myself. I've found that as I'm not yet 30, but as I've gotten closer, I've noticed that people who are in their early 20s, I can see how they just think about things differently a little better now than when I was a younger writer. And so Conan is like a very masculine version of, sometimes people are like, oh, that lead is so immature. Like, Conan is wild. Like, Conan is climbing through the window, okay? Conan is like, I love her. I'm gonna just go in her window and be with her. And I mean, be about it, I respect that about him. So we have a very take charge male lead. It is a big stereotype of the Aquarius star sign to be a little more on the stoic, and it's a stereotype. I'm not saying it's real, but on the emotionless side. One of my very close friends is an Aquarius, actually probably two of them, so no offense meant. And so I wanted to make Conan a little more like emotionally reserved in that way. Like, he's very quick on the sex part, but he's also a little bit like, he's shy, like he's introverted, a man of mystery. And of course, he was very like cerebral, like playing his little mind games with, what was the female lead's name? Oh my God, guys, this is really bad. I can't remember. I thought it was Shauna. LaShawn? Was this one LaShawn? Hold on. I'm seeing if someone remembers in the chat. Shaquana, was this Shaquana's book? Yes, it's Shaquana. Okay. Right. And okay, so this was the issue with this book. This was a very short book because I was so overwhelmed with my life. So Fletcher and Conan are two of the shortest books in the series because I was struggling with everything. And by the way, hello to everyone new coming in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm happy to have you here. So Fletcher and Conan are not out yet, but on audio, sorry. They are out on ebook. But you can get them on ebook, and the audio will be here soon. What we're going to do today is listen to a little bit of Fletcher. Since it's not out yet, this will be all new, and I don't know where to start this book. I don't remember much of anything. So I'm just going to see where chapter 4 leads us and see if we can find a good spot to listen for a minute or so.
Chapter 4. Just a friend. Brittany. There's something magical about entering a room with a Sweeney brother, even if he's in the just a friend category like Fletcher. Mrs. Sweeney blessed our tiny town with 7 attractive men, all over 6 feet tall, and blessed with the ability to talk the pants off anyone. The Sweeney brothers are hot. Even the cursed ones have the Sweeney height, the thick crop of delicious golden hair, and blue eyes that could make any woman swoon. Getting pulled over for a ticket by Fletcher Sweeney would be considered a treat for most of the women in town, because it would be the only chance you got to flirt with him. Everyone knows him, but Fletcher doesn't let anyone get close except my dad. He grew up one of the middle kids in a big family, used to being overlooked and ignored. He feels uncomfortable with all the attention. It's a town rumor that he hasn't been with another woman in the past 4 years, and everyone his age wants a shot with him. He could pick any single woman in this town and have her, but he doesn't seem to give a crap. Weird. It seems like a damn shame for men like Fletcher to go without having kids. That's what the women in church talk about when they should listen to the sermon. And I listen in on their conversations when I should listen to the sermon. All anyone talks about besides birth announcements, wedding announcements, and divorce announcements is single Fletcher Sweeney and how he needs to settle down and how it would be such a waste if he didn't. He's a dork. He isn't interested in dating women. I've known him for my entire life, and all Fletcher cares about is going to the gym with my dad, working to protect this small town from petty criminals, and his German Shepherd, Pistol.
The dog.
Fletcher puts his hand protectively on my shoulder as we walk into the bowling alley. Carrie Underwood's Before He Cheats blares on the radio, and party lights swivel around the room. There are 3 groups on the lanes already, and 4 more open lanes that will probably fill up quickly. Even if there's loud music and no one should be able to detect our entry, it's Fletcher Sweeney, so every eye in the place swivels to watch us walk in. See, Fletcher grumbles, this is how rumors start. Chill, everyone knows you're looking out for me because of my dad. Fletcher only looks more uncomfortable. He acts like the idea of dating me would be totally gross and weird. I guess he's not wrong since he's 35 and I'm 20.
Okay, so we're going to pause here at he's 35 and she's 20. I think at this point, y'all have finally bumped me up to making the heroine 20 in my age gaps. For the record, this is fiction. In real life, if you are in the ages of 18 to 20, I don't advise a huge age gap. Just for the record. Okay, so that was Fletcher's book. I am so excited for this book to come out. Hit up Patreon if you want to get a couple chapters early, because we're going to be listening together, and I'm really, really excited. I could share a little of Conan's book. Let me know if you guys want to hear a little bit of Conan's book in the chat, and I will talk about Duke's book in the meantime. Because, the delay. So Duke Aries King is the next book in the series. So far we have Taryn, Cyrus, Adrian, Fletcher, Conan, and we're finally on book 6, which is Duke's book. So we see yes, 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 please. Hello to everyone coming into the live stream now. Okay, let us load up some of Conan's book and see what I can find here. I don't have as much, but I will. Right. What did I do? Okay, I'm going to try to open
Chapter 1.
I got it.
Chiquana.
Okay, of course I
I
dropped
have a
it.
date on Friday. It's the first date I've had since my ex-husband Oscar moved out. I should be excited for a first date, right? At my age, you don't go on a lot of first dates unless you advertise your body online, and that never sat right with me. Romance should happen naturally, in the wild, the way it has for millions of years. I just don't know about dating a cop. My friends make a good point, though. Who else makes good money in a town like this? Sheriff Leahy's a catch. Allegedly. My future date, Sheriff Leahy, just got a divorce, which he informed me reluctantly while chatting me up over eggs and bacon at Mark and Franny's diner, before asking me on an official date to our town's local Applebee's. Viola thinks I need to get myself back out there, even if it's Sheriff Leahy, but I don't know. Shouldn't people our age at least go to a steakhouse that's a little nicer than Applebee's? They have good food, though, so I can't be too mad that it's not as fancy as I would hope for a first date. Maybe he really likes the racks of ribs. The first sprinkle of snow starts, and even if it's Thursday, it's cause for concern.
Here we go again with the snowstorm. I'm going to pause. We're going to get back to this because I'm excited. JS Lindsay says, I'm 16 years older than my boyfriend. Lol. Thanks for getting your characters out of their teens. I know. I like I said, I understand. Let's just say we're going to listen to a little more.
Another semi-predictable winter storm blowing through, and the Weather Channel always seems to get it wrong. They say 2 inches, we get buried by 18. They call off work, the roads are cleared by 7:30 in the morning. There's no predicting the weather out in the country. As long as I don't have to reschedule, this will be fine. It's just a light dusting, I tell myself. I hope it doesn't get much worse. Not just because of the hassle of rescheduling, but the nightmare of clearing out my long driveway. It's the worst part about my house, the long driveway in the snow. To prepare for the date, I made a special appointment with my nail lady downtown. I go there weekly and treat myself to a fresh set, but today I wanted something more than my standard French tips. Something romantic. There's only a tiny chance at romance in a town this small, especially when you don't have the blonde hair and blue-eyed look that the white guys around here prefer. Sheriff Leahy may just be my best option if I don't want to die alone. There aren't many men in my general demographic who aren't already married. And yes, there are only white guys available for me to date in this town. The black men who come through a place this tiny and isolated are either already married with a parcel of mixed children running behind them, or they're looking for a particular type of woman. I'm not
Why did I drag them like that?
their type, let's just say. I wish I was someone's type, but I'm just not that lucky. People say because I have fair skin, I'm a light caramel color, I have it easier. But if I have it easier, where are the men lining down the block to date me? It doesn't matter your skin color. Some people just aren't lucky in love. I wasn't lucky in my marriage. Why should that change now? There's nothing different about my life, and there's nothing more special about me now compared to when I was younger. I've lived life, no regrets about that, but at my age, you don't exactly lose hope that love is out there. You just stop expecting to find it around every corner.
It's going to come through the window during a snowstorm. That's why. So we're going to cut it off there. It's kind of not my fave part to start because if I want to play something for you guys, I'm like, haha, I want to play something like messy and juicy, not like the intro, but there we go. So Duke's book. Duke was not an age gap, but they were legal age high schoolers. I wanted to tell a cute high school romance story. So the name of the one that I just played was Conan Aquarius King, and the one I'm talking about now is Duke Aries King. My bad. So Michelle, again, named after a patron, and basically I wanted this to be sort of a second chance bully romance. I don't know where else one gets bullied aside from school. That's my issue with the bully romance theme, is that, so that's why I made them like 18 and 19, not because I don't really even talk to people of that age, but because I don't know where else one gets bullied. And this one was a bully romance. So if there's, your job. See guys, I'm a writer. I forgot. Everyone else, I write for work. So yeah, you could get bullied at your job. You can, but are there bully romances set at work? You know, you guys are making me think. I love it. Of course I didn't think of getting bullied at work, although my cats do bully me, but it's not the same. It's not serious. My cat's bullying me is not real. Sorry, that's a dumb joke. So Michelle wants So Michelle and Duke are enemies because Duke is a huge asshole, honestly. You can get bullied at work. Everyone, thank you. So basically she gets really upset, and because of Duke's bullying, she goes home. She's sad. Her and her mom order a pizza. The snow starts coming down. Duke's family owns a pizza place. His mom is upset that he's bullying women at school because his mom is awesome. I love Duke's mom. She dragged him because we needed a character to drag Duke, and I put my feelings into Duke's mom. So she sends him to deliver the pizza. He's like, oh, life is so hard. I'm like a sexy white man. I don't want to be doing this. And then he crashes. He's got to stay overnight. Her mom was so West Indian. Lol. How can you tell that my mom is West Indian? Because yes, her mom basically tries to like forces her to share the pizza. Yes, that's funny that you say that because it's a very West Indian mom moment to make you share with someone that you don't want to share with. And in fact, like maybe you want to fight them. So, very relatable. That's so funny. And in the end, Duke essentially, yes, I'm loving the new book ideas for a bully romance at work. I gotta be honest, sometimes I shock myself because I just don't think. So Duke, I think, makes it up to her, and she ends up losing her virginity to Duke, and it's basically a tale as old. It's basically a tale as old as time. The guy is mean to you because guess what? He secretly likes you, and it's dope because he's sexy. So that's Duke's book for you. That will be the next two. So while we're here, the next two audiobooks after Fletcher, after Conan, when that batch is done, Duke and Julius. We're almost caught up. That's very exciting. So, especially because I have been streaming for a long time. And, well, I didn't need to prepare, I guess. So, looks like things are going great. Thank you guys for being along for the ride. So, Julius is the book after Duke's. And I was a little tired of snowstorms. However, we have to pause and talk about this book because I don't really think I understood tornadoes when I promised everyone a tornado romance loudly all over the internet. I've had family that's grown up in the Midwest in Tornado Alley. When I was a young child, I really used to like Judy Garland's Wizard of Oz. I'm trying to think of other tornado related things that I might have been obsessed with. Like, I don't really know, but I basically had a very movie themed idea of what tornadoes were. And so I got to writing this book and I looked up what it is like, and I found out that basically when a tornado, so if a tornado, God forbid, knock on wood, were to like roll through this room I'm in right now, a tornado twister funnel, it would probably last about like less than 5 minutes to completely destroy what is going on here. So that is not very much time to be trapped with someone. I know a lot can happen in 5 minutes, but most of us are not fantasizing about a 5-minute session with a man, if you feel me. Oh, you're thinking Helen Hunt and that guy in Twister. That's a movie, right? One thing you will learn about me soon, folks, is that I have not seen very many movies. It is very embarrassing, and I try to catch up, but I forget movies. I maybe I've seen it, and when I was young or saw parts of it. Anyways, so I had no idea that tornadoes. There, you are not going to be like stuck in an ambient tornado for a day. That's the long and the short of it. And so I had to think about how I can make Julius and our main character, Lachelle, also named for a patron, have this tornado experience without him being a minute man. Like, we don't want Julius busting a nut and leaving before we've gotten ours. So that changed things, but I did kind of give them some sexy moments in this book of being trapped in a tub together, him saving her life. She has a pet cat named Scamp. I have a cat named Scamp. At that time, my cat was like wreaking havoc on my house like daily. Like, she was just in a festive mood. And so I just based the character off of her because she was just all over the place. And Julius's book, someone pointed out, was an older woman, younger man romance. And I wanted to give that type of age gap romance a try because, of course, like I said, I do the others a lot. And it's time for a change. I also wanted him to be more of like a sexy blue collar work with his hands type person. Recently, a lot of things. Keisha said writing is therapy, and for me, 110%. Because if you see me starting to write handyman in my romance, just know that I had to call a plumber in real life, or something happened in real life that required me to fix something, and this bled into my romance. So at that time, many things and repairs were needed and happening, and so Julius was my dream man, fixing it all for free, and then laying pipe at the end of it. So if that sounds like it's up your alley, consider it. There's also a pretty great scene with Julius giving a bit of a beat down to a trashy ex-husband. If any of you have a trashy ex, this is for you, girl. I hope you enjoy it. And now we are on to the last published book of the series. And I feel so bad. If you were here to listen to Zedekiah or anything about Zedekiah, timestamp 1 hour, because it took us an hour to get through this. So Augustine is one of my favorite books. This was inspired by student loan payments kicking back in. And in this book world, Trinity, also named for a patron, thank you Trinity, sells her hand in marriage, not her body. She sells her hand in marriage to an Alaskan who is mysteriously wealthy, and she doesn't know why. So she basically becomes his wife, and she doesn't know why this man bought a wife on the internet or anything. And so this is a mail order bride romance, enemies to lovers, and it's very, very sexy. We have a stuck in a snowstorm romance, and Augustine is purely dominant. And we also have country boy, city girl vibes going. Augustine is pure lumberjack mountain man. Yes, and the Huskies. And Jacqueline Ryder says that his husky dogs, I think patrons named the dogs. I think there was Flurry was one of them. And I can't remember the second dog. I'm sorry, guys. I'm working on a lot right now. I hate when I can't remember important things like that. But the husky dogs and that, Augustine's book was a lot of fun to write, and I connected it to Zed's book because a character in Augustine's book, Jim Mulligan, Creed and Flurry. Yes. Thank you, Keisha, for reminding me of the name. Jim Mulligan from Augustine's book is going to be important in Zedekiah's book. Zed's book, Libra King, is coming out October 12th. And it's not quite a mail order bride romance, but it's similar. A mail order bride is in the romance, but how she comes to Zed's doorstep is a mystery that my patrons already know. This book is a little bit of, some confusion. Keisha says that was my name submission. Oh, well, of course you remember it. Well, thank you for your submission and just participating in everything. I really appreciate it. I did want to read a little bit of Zed's book. Now, we are already 1 hour in, and I am, again, this took longer than I thought, but I do appreciate you guys sticking around. I want to give a good part of the book to you, but, oh yes, okay, I saw chopping wood. There we go. All right. Oh, okay, so without giving away too much, this book is going to be longer than I thought. My original plan was 22K. Right now we're at 23,500. It may hit 25K words. I'm praying it doesn't hit 30K because things are happening. The smut is smutting. This book is going to be wild AF. And right now, because I know for a fact Chris and I are in it until the end with this series, Chris is in my brain when I'm thinking of some of the books in the series. So let's get into a little sample here. Not too long since I did have you on here a while. So still, after 8 weeks, I grow to enjoy the closeness of our ritual, especially because I keep trying to use it to get Zed to crack. This is her ritual of shaving his face, the beard. I lean over, push my boobs together, stand close to him between his legs, and do everything in my power to get him to kiss me again. He turns red, and his dick has a visible response to me, but he doesn't touch me a single morning for those 8 weeks. Once I shave his face, Zed leaves to take Sharpie for a walk while I prepare breakfast. When he comes back, Sharpie haunts the kitchen with eager enthusiasm as he searches for any scraps I drop from the counter or the stovetop. Zed wants me to have more discipline with Sharpie, but I can't help sneaking him bacon bits. Zed's ability to put back breakfast never fails to surprise me. I still don't understand how he affords to eat this much food, even supplemented by the meat he has stored from hunting. I spend so much time cooking for him, and I have to cook so damn much that it feels like I'm feeding an entire village. After breakfast, Zed puts me to serious work. My back hurts at the end of each day, and the only reason the hard work doesn't make me poison his supper is because Zed works even harder than I do. In the evenings, when I finish up supper, he chops wood outside and I get to watch him through the window. Why the hell won't he touch me again? Zed is sexy as fuck as he chops wood shirtless outside, like he has every evening for the past 8 weeks since the kiss. Tonight is just like any other, quiet and cold. Sharpie sleeps near the cast iron stove while Zed works. He wears low-slung wool trousers and well-worn dark brown work boots. His body is completely chiseled, and he swings an axe that weighs about 50 pounds to complete the task. Don't ask why I tried handling his axe, but I couldn't pick the thing up. Zed swings it over his shoulders, and I hear the familiar thunk sound as the axe hits the log and splits it clean in half. My pussy gushes watching him through the window. Sweat covers Zed's body after about an hour of chopping wood, but it's not enough that he stands there looking like a gorgeous hunk of muscle in the snowy backyard. He has to move the split logs next. Zed carries heavy piles of wood into his covered stack behind the house, his muscles moving in an entirely new and alluring way that make it impossible to focus on dinner. Okay, so we have a little bit of sexy chopping wood scene. She's trying to get Zed to kiss her again. Why won't he kiss her? What's going on? You're going to have to read it to find out. The book comes out on October 12th, and we are going to have to wrap it up pretty soon because I've been here for a while. But I do want to get to the next 2 books in the series. Now, the last one I'm going to talk about is not connected on the series page yet. I just found that out opening this up for the live stream. So I will post a little update tomorrow when I get the link sorted out. But the other book that has not been discussed and will be coming out this year is a Christmas Day release. If you have been with me for a while, you know I typically send out a nothing for sale email on Christmas and I don't publish anything. I am very serious in a West Indian way about my holiday time around Christmas. My family is extremely important to me, and I have a large family that I dedicate a lot of my time and energy to when I'm not writing. And so at Christmas time, I normally don't have anything ready, prepared. I say nothing, I do nothing. It's me and Christmas. But this year, I wanted to actually put out a book release in this series because I never put out anything at this time of year, and I wanted to give you guys like a nice juicy book to read during the time period when I'm normally quiet with books for a very long time. Like I will go the longest during that stretch of time. December, January is the longest I normally go without publishing. And this time I wanted you guys to have something for Christmas. So we have Cain, Capricorn King. Cain is Zed's relative, and how they are related will be revealed in Zed's book. That's Zedekiah. Cain's book is a law enforcement romance, and the last book that I have up, although not the last in the series, is Dylan, Pisces King. And Dylan is a fireman romance. So we're going to have a firefighter romance. And Dylan may or may not be a Callahan. So for fans of Duke and Julius, keep your eyes open. And then Gemini has to be announced later because I may have something very special planned for that. So these are all of the updates. This is like the longest video I've done on this series. I really wanted to recap everything so far because we only have 4 books left. And once all the books are out, I will be bundling the ebooks, bundling the audiobooks, so there will be many ways to read the stories. As I do at the end of these videos, thank you all for joining. If you want more content, chapters, more of that audiobook, Fletcher, more of Zed, they have 10 chapters out on Patreon, straight up. If you want illustrations, I still have all my serials up on Patreon. That amounts to 6 plus 5 plus 5, 11 plus 5. 16? 15 to 16 full-length books you can read. Let's say that. Back there, oh no, it's 3. There were only 3 seasons in Powerless. So 6, 5, and 3. 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 seasons of serial to read back there on Patreon, and a lot more coming. Daily chapters, daily interactions, more audiobooks, all of that stuff. Joining my newsletter with the link in my description will allow you to participate in my audiobook giveaways. There are, from this point forward, going to be at least 2 audiobook giveaways a month on the newsletter. I will also send updates there and that type of thing. And again, the final thing I talked about at the beginning of this video was you can order this paperback on Amazon, and you can also get the ebook on pre-order. It'll be out on the 27th. So thank you everyone for coming. I know we didn't do a giveaway this time. This was just way too long for me to fit that in, but hopefully we can do a giveaway in the next stream. Again, thank you so much for coming, and have a wonderful evening, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Goodbye.
She be calling on a Monday, wanna meet on Tuesday, asking me to fix me up real nice. She can wait until the weekend, she wants off the deep end, telling me to bring the stuff I like. I don't wanna let her down, so